Well, with the recent school shootings, many parents are feeling worried about how to keep their kids safe.
Yeah, how do you have the conversation about gun safety in your household at all ages? My 6-year-old asked the same questions, just like a teenager might. Sarina Natkin back with us this morning with some tips for you parents. Sarina, you say that the topic of gun safety should be top of mind, important to have a regular conversation, right?
Yes, you know, we shy away from those conversations. We're worried that they're going to scare our kids. They're hard for us. But we've got to talk about it. And actually talking about it helps us move from that place of feeling powerless to taking a step and it matters. Those conversations matter and they have to happen regularly. So I have an alert on my calendar. Once every 6 months it pops up and it says safety planning talk. And we run through what do you do in a fire? What do you do in an earthquake? I have a kid who's old enough to stay home alone. What do you do when you're home alone? Answering the phone, answering the door. And gun safety is one of those topics that we added in early, and we touch on it every 6 months.
Well, it's a good point, because at school they're doing fire drills, they're doing earthquake drills,
Yeah.
they're also doing lockdown drills. So those are things,
drills.
active shooters. And so at home, those conversations should be happening as well. But when you talk about guns, like you said, a lot of parents, including myself, I don't really know what to say, what words to use, what will scare them, what won't. So what's your advice on how to have that conversation?
So first of all, if you are not a hunter or carry a gun as part of your work or a gun owner, your child likely hasn't seen a gun, doesn't know what they look like. Maybe they see them in a cartoon or on TV. So the first thing I did, I went on the internet and I pulled up some pictures of guns. And one of the things that was surprising to both my kids and I is there's lots of guns out there that are, designed to, fit the person who has them. And so there's Hello Kitty guns and My Little Pony guns. And so helping them see that just because it looks like it could be a toy, we can't make that assumption, right? So that was the first thing, getting them, this is what they look like. There's different kinds, they don't all look the same. The second thing we talked about is, what do you do if you see one, right? And, we talked about that there's lots of people that carry guns as part of their job. And there are people that have them for hunting, and those people often are trained in how to use them and store them safely. And guns sometimes they're lost or misplaced or in the hands of someone who is not trained in how to use or store them safely. And so if they see a gun, there's 3 things they need to do. They need to leave it alone, leave the area, and tell an adult. Okay, and this takes you pretty far up to the teens, right? I don't care if my child is 18. If they find a gun, I don't want them touching it.
And so what about maybe the play dates? If a family is taking your child into the day and they have guns everywhere, how do you approach that subject without offending the gun owner? Absolutely.
And, we talk about food allergies before play dates. We talk about, what is it okay for your kid to watch at my house? I remember asking someone, is it okay to paint your child's toenails, right?
But we can't ask about guns.
But we can't ask about guns. So
but we can.
We can, and we have to, and we need to, and the more we normalize it for each other. I've talked to friends in other parts of the country, even other parts of our state, that hunting is more, more common activity. I mean, in the city, we're not doing much of that, those people are more comfortable with the conversation. I find in Seattle, people are just, I don't want to offend you. So you just need to ask. You say, Olivia is so excited to come over for a play date. Thank you so much for having her. And, as part of my sort of safety thing before she goes to a house for the first time, just want to check in. If you have any guns in the house, are they stored securely? And I have never. It's a fair question.
And they shouldn't be offended, and frankly.
I don't. I have a nut allergy. I'm not offended if, someone has peanut butter in their house. I just need to know that it's not going to touch me, right? So let's just normalize this. And the more we do that, the more we all act as ambassadors for asking that question, the more comfortable we all get with it. And there are many accidental shootings that happen with children.
Totally.
And we role play with our kids too. So if they're at a house and a friend is like, want to see what I found in my uncle's room or in the basement, we role play. What do? You leave the area, you leave the gun alone, and tell an adult. And with teens, reminding them that if you have a friend who has a gun and is struggling, talking to your parents, talking to a teacher, talking to a grown-up is not tattling. Okay, it is getting support for them, and we need to help our kids understand that too. Yeah.
Sarina Natkin, thank you so much. You can read more about that and other topics on Sarina's blog. You can find it all at sarinanatkin.com. Thanks, Sarina.
Thanks, Sarina.
Thank you.
Great stuff.